We all know in 2024 golf is getting far too expensive, especially when buying a brand new driver. Today we pose the question, how can we battle this? And I think I have the answer. I also have another Titleist driver today, but you will see it's a little bit older. It's second-hand from the guys at Golf Clubs for Cash, and it will set you back just £299. Now you may be saying, James, that's not a fair test. That's a brand new Titleist TSR driver, and it is going to be a bomb. That thing is nearly 10 years old. How can this work? Well, you see, this has an upcharge shaft, which back in the day would have cost you £350. So, is a stock Titleist TSR3 driver going to outperform a second-hand TS3 driver with an upcharge shaft? Guys, we also have a special guest today. Gaz, how are you?
I'm good, thanks, yeah. I'm
now,
looking forward to this.
This is the perfect video to get Gaz in because Gaz is a shaft specialist. You've spent more money on shafts, mate, than I have on cars, and that says something.
I love golf shafts.
Because I've wasted a lot of money on cars as well. Guys, I'm going to get in the comments today and let me know how much difference you think there's going to be. We're going to test them out here on the golf course, both me and Gaz, and I've been in the studio testing these to see just how much difference there potentially is. I'll get teed off first. I'll go TSR3 with the, I believe it's a Hazardous 6.0 shaft in there, so it's still a good shaft, but it's not an upcharge shaft, it's a stock shaft. Then we're going to go TS3 with the upcharge and see, this is such a good looking driver. I always think this when I get it back out. Why haven't I spent more time with one of these? Straight off the bat, that felt fantastic. It was actually a touch toey, but that's up the left hand side of the fairway. And I think they would be good numbers. I think that'd be around a 156, 157 ball speed. It would have a nice spin rate on it as well. And I think they would be pretty good numbers. So now let's go TS3 and let's see if potentially this could save you a ton of money. A new TS3 driver would cost you £529. That to me seems excessive. I'm not sure if it was that when it first came out. I don't know if it's gone up. But this, £299, like we said, with the upcharge shaft. Guys, do you know when someone rocks up with one of these, do you feel like, oh, this guy knows what he's doing because he's potentially gone and got fitted for? Because I used to get fitted for this shaft when I was in the pro shop, and because of the great discount we used to get, I used to get them, that's why I have it. I've since got fitted for the Hazardous because it was a little bit cheaper.
Yeah.
So, I mean, how much performance benefit would you hope to see, especially in a slightly older head, because that was a great head back in the day as well.
Yeah.
It was a question.
Sorry, I didn't think you were asking me questions.
Right, let's go for a similar shot. Both same loft and same shaft length. Now that's funny because they're identical strikes and identical ball flights, and that, oh wow. Give us a zoom there, Bobby. That's like 10 yards past it, more. This is going to be really interesting because the numbers are going to speak for themselves, but Gaz, I'm really keen to see what you think here because like I said,
I'm looking forward to this actually.
You've always liked spending money on shafts, haven't you?
I think it's a great question for you guys at home. Should you upgrade driver or should you be looking to, you know, fit a new shaft into the product that you've got and see if you can
It's
get
really
some
interesting
gains?
because the guys at Golf Clubs for Cash, they have like a shaft section and they'll fit you a different adapter. So it's possible to do it.
Yeah.
You'd have to check that the swing weight worked for you and things like that. And I almost think the guys at Clubs for Cash could kind of fit them for you because I think going and buying a shaft because you like the colour never really works. But if you've been fitted for one in the past and you just keep upgrading your shaft potentially.
Side by side.
Yeah.
What do they look like, Bobby? Just have a zoom in.
You know, if you didn't know this was the newer one, like we know that's the newer one.
Yeah.
And then they released that with the old Titleist, what's
Yeah.
that called? The Fulcrum again. You think, oh, you know what? I quite like that.
There's not a lot in it, is there?
I happen to think that does look better, but then
So
that's...
there's 10 years of innovation, but it does, yeah, I'd say it pips it on looks a fraction.
And on the sole, if you look at the sole design as well, so the adjustments have totally changed as well. So you'll see we have the sliding track on the TSR there, so you can have the weights in like kind of more finicky settings, whereas this one had that metal rod that you'd take out and you put it in draw or fade.
I've got to admit, it's not the best, is it?
But then you look at it when it first came out and you thought, oh wow, we're changing CG round, it's amazing.
Maybe they wanted that to be seen when it came out as technology.
I think visual tech's massive, isn't it?
Yeah,
but that does look fantastic, doesn't it, to be fair? I don't know why I don't use that. I'd have 14 drives in my bag if I could. I really would. Right, Gaz. Nice.
Oh my God, I could put that in my bag.
That's best I've seen you at a driver in a long time.
Not gone as far as expected though.
No, I don't think it's gone as far as mine. But it'd be really interesting to see because you look like a baller with that. And I know that seems like a very, very strange thing to say, but a lot of people care what they look like on a golf course. A lot of people want to be seen to have the best equipment, and a very vibrant shaft is a very quick way of doing that.
That sent more powerful if I'm off face.
Yeah, you've pulled it a bit, so I'll be interested to see where they are when we
Yeah.
get down there. I think
It felt better off the face.
Yeah, well,
but that was the best one I ate.
yeah. So face design has obviously changed and tech has changed. Even the materials that Titleist use now has changed. Let's get down there, let's see where they are. We'll have a couple more goes on different tees and then we'll talk numbers for these two drivers and see if you could save yourself a ton of money and maybe invest that money in lessons, green fees, membership and get you playing golf a little bit more with a nice shaft. So guys, as you can see, we have my standard TSR driver here. We have the upgraded shaft with the TS3 driver, let's be fair, 20 yards further up. At Bobby's feet is Gaz's shot with the standard driver. And again, the upgraded driver is just up there. So even though Gaz thought that the upgraded driver wasn't going to be as good, it's actually done better for both of us there. Let's jump inside, let's see what the numbers say. Then we're going to get back out on the golf course and hit a couple more tee shots and see potentially if we've been doing this wrong the whole time, and if you could save yourself a fortune. So when it comes to the numbers for these two Titleist drivers, just which one would you like to think you've spent the big money on? The latest and greatest, or one that's a little bit older but features the holy grail shaft? Because I think, yes, it matters out on the golf course. You obviously want the driver you can keep in play the most, but ultimately you're going to go and test these drivers on a launch monitor, see what the numbers say, see how much ball speed you can get, what spin rate windows you hit in, and ultimately how far you're going to go. Remember, the standard driver costs way more than the Golf Clubs for Cash driver with the upcharged shaft. This shaft should have cost pretty much what this driver cost back in the day. So it goes to show that you don't really get that resale value when it comes to trading shafts in as well. We'll go with the TSR3 to kick off with and just see what kind of numbers we can get. You know what? It's been a while since I've hit a Titleist driver, and I always think, looking back at them, this looks so good. It's timeless. I don't know why. I don't know what didn't work between us, because I used Titleist drivers for a long time back in the day, even before my voice broke like this, a very long time ago. So, it sounds as good as ever as well. That's the one you want. That's the one that makes you think, James, why haven't you gamed this driver? Look at that. Nearly 300. I bet it's low spin, 161 ball. Feels as good as anything. It sounds so good. Right. You see, it's not like I haven't been fitted for one of these expensive shafts before. This is pretty much the shaft I did get fitted for back in the day, and you can see it is exactly the same as the standard one as well. So we should see very similar club head speeds, resulting in very similar ball speeds, unless the magic can work. Guys, what differences are we going to see? Get in the comments below and let me know. I apologise for my voice as well. Not a lot I can do about it at the moment, but this head doesn't look as good. I said this outside, but it just doesn't. No way. But then if it performs like that, you can sort of forgive it. Go on. Not quite up there with the new one, but 285, 160 ball, sub 2000 spin. This shaft is all about high ball speed, low spin. It feels good and sounds right, but it doesn't sound as good. I'm sure we've discussed this out on the golf course, but sound and feel is a big thing when you are spending big money on golf clubs, on shafts, on club fittings. $299. I also think that's it's quite ridiculous really, isn't it? But if it works as good as the TSR, certainly like forgiveness, it doesn't feel as strong on miss hits, but then that's running up to 275. Ball speed was way down there though. Ball speed was way down. certainly a noticeable difference on ball speed averages. I think the new one's just more forgiving. Like, not by a huge way. That one's 285, 159 ball, but I think the new one's just got just a little bit hotter. Try saying that with a sore throat. Hotter. Right, let's talk averages for these two beasts. And so guys, we take a look at these numbers and you can see randomly ball speed pretty similar, spin rate, we actually had less spin on the new TSR3 even with a low spin upcharge shaft in the old TS3, so that just goes to show just how good this new TSR3 head really is. Distances pretty similar, a yard in it, a couple of yards in it for total distance. That's going to be gauged on run out due to spin rate and everything else and launch angle. But realistically, two pretty viable options, and you can get the TS3 for cheaper with this upcharged shaft and still hit pretty good drives. Let's get back out there and see how Gaz can get on this final hole, because he might need a lot more than an upcharged shaft to knock it past me. Right guys, as you could see from the numbers inside, not a huge difference there, and actually I'm amazed that the old TS3 could perform as well as the new TSR3 with that upgraded shaft in there. So Gaz, I'm going to let you go first. What are your thoughts on that? Because you've seen the numbers.
It surprised me. I mean, obviously I felt that the new one was a lot nicer and felt better off the face, but actual performance and end result, there was nothing in it.
And I think if people are looking at saving money, I've always been a huge believer that there's a great budget or there's a great saving to be had in that second-hand market at Golf Clubs for Cash or at eBay or anywhere else that you might want to go. But realistically, you can't quite get the fitting element. And the reason why this test may have worked for me is because I've been fitted into that shaft before. So it's not like you can go and just kind of pluck one out and go, oh, well, because that used to be an expensive shaft, it's going to work. But let's say it works for Gaz here, and then I'm going to try and hit a couple more big ones. I'm going to go after them and see potentially if I can get them out there like I'd want them to.
I know there'll be a lot of like golf perverts like myself.
I'm going to bleep out the word golf there.
Obsess on fittings, but do you know, like when you're a newer golfer and you can't afford that really in-depth master fitting, sometimes some calculated advice and, you know, getting a professional like me or James or someone at Cash for Clubs to advise you on shaft flex.
And they are good there. If you go in, sorry to interrupt, anyone but Ray will be perfect to sort you out. Ray will sort you out, but hi Ray.
It can improve your game just by having a bit better shaft and one that's more suited to you, even if it's just not master fitted and just advised to the people that's got the wrong shaft.
Interesting ball flight, a bit necky that one, was it?
I don't know, but I like it. Feels more on a piece of string.
It's fairway. It's a fairway hit, which for Gaz, big tick in the box.
Off the face, it obviously don't feel as quick off face, but...
And ball speed, it was a touchdown, but
yeah.
I mean, not realistically.
I think because I've hit it heeler there, we might see a bit of a difference now.
Yeah.
Because I think this will be more forgiving across the face.
That's going to be interesting because it was a similar height, slightly different line.
Yeah. Right,
I'm going to go this one first. I'm going to go TS3 first. Try and take the Tiger line as well. It brings back so many memories because I used to have this exact driver.
Yeah. I felt more comfortable with that one.
Right, that's the Tiger line. And it didn't sound as soft, did it? It didn't feel as soft.
No, there's something about it that just
Let's go again.
Takes you back 10 years.
And I've hit that one well, so this is going to be really interesting. If I can hit this one just as good. Right.
Sharp.
Right. So they're quite similar, and we're into a bit of wind as well, so we're going to see how these have reacted in the wind, potentially with spin rates and everything else. Guys, what would you do? Would you buy brand new? Would you upgrade a shaft? And would you go second hand? So guys, going back to the numbers and going back to this test as a whole, I think it's very interesting because it shows how much graphite has progressed and how much it's come on, because the hazardous shaft that comes stock now in these Titleist drivers, and there are other stock shafts you can get fitted into, are very high quality. And that speaks volumes again as to how graphite's come on and maybe you're not paying the upcharge that you used to pay for the high quality.
Yeah, no, I'd completely agree. You've got a lot more options. When you went back 10 years ago to the TS3 kind of era, you know, you had to sometimes go for an upgrade if you were a better golfer.
Because it was the Diamana shafts that were in there, and they were okay, but the Cali shaft, the black one that came stock, I remember.
Some of them were like exclusive to that brand, they'd been specially made. They weren't the real actual Diamana product, were they? Or
whereas nowadays, I don't think you need to go and get the upcharged shaft, but you put upcharged shaft in the old one instead of the stock shaft.
Yeah.
We've seen today it can make a huge difference. So guys, as you can see, Gazza's TS3 with the upgraded shaft is bang up in the middle of the fairway. However, his TSR3 went a little bit further. That can obviously be down to the strike and how he's hit it. Interestingly, both of mine are neck and neck. The newer driver, the TSR3 that's in the fairway, I felt like it was maybe a little bit of a better swing. Obviously that's going to be more central, it's going to be a better shot. But realistically guys, how much difference can you see for this money? I'm not seeing a huge difference, and the fact that you can get quite a cool shaft in there as well for £299 I think is a bonus. Get in the comments below, let us know what you think, and apart from that I'll see you all at the same time tomorrow. Goodbye.